surprised that there's no one at the front desk.
He calls out several times. When no one answers, he makes his way around the desk. He's horrified to see the body of a woman.
The man immediately calls 911 to report it. Patrolman Chuck Rummel arrives on the scene with Chief Barnhart and Detective Rice. Rummel, the rookie, secures the motel entrance, while investigators go over the crime scene inside.
Actually, I had just gotten back into patrol. I was in investigation for about 6 months, just about 2 weeks prior to that. And I decided investigations wasn't for me. Not at that time anyway. So I got back into uniform. And so I and my sergeant go screaming over there. And my job was to make sure nobody else gets into the crime scene.
As soon as the body is discovered, the clock is ticking. Investigators are working as hard as they can to find the person and make an arrest.
They went inside the building and examined the lady on the floor. She had her hands tied behind her back. She had her legs tied, and then the cord was wrapped around her neck. And as I'm outside, and those guys are in there processing that scene, a car comes up to a screaming halt, and this lady jumps out and said, "My baby, my baby."
The woman is Melody Leitz, the mother of 7-year-old Dannell, who investigators discover spent the night with her grandmother at the motel. Detectives have only started combing the scene when they discover a second body. Melody's daughter Dannell is found on a bed in a room used by employees working overnight shifts at the motel. She's covered with a sheet, and she too has suffered head wounds and appears to have been smothered.
You didn't talk about your feelings back then. You didn't talk about how messed up this is. You just acted like a robot. We really talked about the case, but not about how we felt about the case, or the fact that an innocent little girl was murdered.
Officers have the unfortunate task of breaking the news to the child's mother, who's here to pick her daughter up for school.
And I had to hold her back, and I couldn't hold her back. To be honest, she was going to go in there.
This is the first double homicide Dickinson has ever had. The police are feeling the immense pressure knowing their child is involved. The town is going to want answers. They're going to want them fast.
In the 60s, this once quiet town experiences an oil boom. But by the early 70s, then Governor Art Link predicts it's coming to an end. Only Governor Link's prediction is wrong. By 1981, the boom is still going strong, and the town of Dickinson sees a population increase of 7,000 people within a few years. With the new wells comes new economic opportunities, which attract men to the region. One result of this population increase, though, is an increase in crime.
Well, transients, especially these, would be able to make a lot of money pretty quickly. Along with the transients came the drugs, and came a lot of other bad things, thefts, burglaries. Those guys don't live there permanently, so they really don't care about the community.
For Melody Leitz and her mom Priscilla Dinkle, the economic boom happening in Dickinson is tempting enough to uproot their lives for her. And in the summer of 1981, they make the 360-mile move from Crystal, North Dakota, where they lived most of their lives, to Dickinson. Melody moves with their daughter Dannell for work, and Priscilla finds a job managing the Swanson Motel. They all see this as a great opportunity and are happy with their new chosen home.
A town like Dickinson is the last place they would have expected any trouble. There's no way they would have known what was awaiting them there.
The female victim is identified as Priscilla Dinkle, 53 years old. In one tragic blow, Melody has lost both her mother and her daughter.
In spite of her grief, it's imperative for detectives to interview Melody. If anyone had a reason to kill her mother and her child, she would be the one to know it, and why. And after she takes a moment to collect herself, she comes up with a name: William Thomas Rieger.
The day after the murders, police arrest Rieger for drunk driving and a suspended license. Investigators review the crime scene evidence to try and paint a clearer picture of what may have happened.
Priscilla is struck in the head and tied up with an electrical cord.
The most disturbing thing investigators find is that it appears that 7-year-old Danielle has been sexually assaulted. However, this will need to be confirmed at the autopsy.
Priscilla does not appear to be sexually assaulted.
The big question here is motive. Did the killer know the victims? Did he know Danielle would be here? Was it strictly a sex crime? Was it a crime of opportunity? Was it financially motivated?
How do you narrow the field of suspects down in a case like this, with all the strange people in and out of town?
Detectives explore the theory of a robbery gone wrong. Motel staff confirm $100 is missing from the cash box.
Investigators question William Rieger, the man Melody accuses of killing her mother and child.
He got a DUI the night after, and he went up there and interviewed him right then about some things, some inconsistencies that he had found in the case or in his previous statement.
Police are hopeful that he's their man, that they can wrap up this investigation quickly. But beyond Melody's hunch that he's responsible for the murders, there's really no evidence linking him to the Swanson motel murders.
With little else to hold William Rieger for, he is released, and the Dickinson police continue to search for the killer.
Ready to party? I'm talking about Jackpot Party, the leading free-to-play mobile slots game that always gives you more. Download Jackpot Party for free and get a 45 million coin bonus. Jackpot Party, a party in every spin.
At DriveTime.com, we've been hard at work, and we finally did.
Did you make it so I can finally see my real payments and shop at thousands of cars with no hit to my credit?
Wait, yes!
Shop for cars online with no credit hit. Go to DriveTime.com and get approved with no credit hit.
I was seeing this bra all over my Instagram feed. I'm sure you're seeing it too.
This is the most comfortable bra I've ever put on in my life.
I love it because one, it's not underwire. I hate underwire.
It smooths out your back. It doesn't give you back fat or back rolls. You can wear this under a t-shirt and it wouldn't leave any marks or bulges. So not only is it super supportive, lifting and smoothing, but you have all that without an underwire and without a ton of padding.
If you're looking at this and it's available, I promise you won't regret it.
Try risk-free. Free returns on all orders.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Quince is quiet luxury at disruptive prices. Because beautiful things should be for everyone. With Quince, you can get more summer essentials, more high-quality materials, and more of life's finer things. Because quality should never be a luxury. Quince. Get $20 off your first purchase at quince.com.
My doctor told me I needed to start prioritizing my liver health.
Dose for Your Liver is a clinically backed supplement that supports healthy liver function.
My stomach feels a lot better.
He has more energy. He sees his grandkids more. Start your liver health journey today at dosedaily.co.
This is Litter Robot, the highest rated self-cleaning litter box that removes the chore of scooping. After your cat exits, Litter Robot automatically cycles, separating the clean litter from the dirty clumps. Never scoop again with Litter Robot.
I was never able to find a bra that fit my small chest.
Every bra gave me gaps or made me feel like I wasn't enough. It was something society taught us to be embarrassed about. Small-chested women deserve better. So I designed a bra that finally fits AA to B cups perfectly, and a brand that empowers women to celebrate their bodies exactly as they are. No more cup gaps or looking 2 sizes bigger. It's not your body that has to change, it's the industry. Meet Pepper, the bras that actually fit small boobs. Check us out at wearpepper.com.
A Talkspace therapist will be in your corner for whatever comes up and be a place for you to vent, day or night, when you need to. Talkspace is covered by most insurance plans and may be no cost to you. Go to Talkspace.com to get started.
Did you know that old-fashioned laundry detergent can contain up to 80% water? We at EarthBreeze created our dissolvable laundry detergent because you already have water. Just put a pre-measured sheet into any washing machine, watch it dissolve in hot or cold water, and your laundry will come out fresh and clean every time. EarthBreeze is also gentle on your skin, and there's no wasteful plastic jug that's just going to end up in a landfill anyway. We even have a money-back guarantee. It's time to switch to EarthBreeze at earthbreeze.com.
Joint pain was killing my creativity. Blue Emu gave me my hobbies back. It's the arthritis pain relief our joints rely on.
Shop our expanded family of products at major online retailers.
On the morning of November 16th, 1981, 2 bodies are found at the Swanson Motel in Dickinson, North Dakota. The double homicide of Melody Leetz's mother and daughter shocks the town and makes national news.
Investigators respond with a long list of possible suspects, but Melody is convinced that it's a man named William Rieger that's responsible for the murders.
Rieger is interrogated. Detectives determine they have nothing to hold him on. He's released, and the search continues for the killer. An autopsy confirms what investigators already suspect.
Priscilla has a fractured skull, and Donnell has suffered a bruised skull. The mark on Donnell's cheek appears to be from a stick from the table that supports one of the leaves. The killer raped her, untied her, and then bludgeoned her on the head. The coroner puts their time of death sometime between 11 p.m. on November 15th and 3 a.m. on November 16th. The cause of death for both victims is strangulation with an electrical cord.
Investigators note that all the weapons used in the murder could be found in the motel room.
Nothing was brought to the scene to suggest this was premeditated, meaning this was likely a crime of opportunity. So given the meager amount of cash that was taken, it's hard to believe that the motive for the sexual assault and murder was robbery.
So, where do you start? You know, the investigators started with the people that were living in the motel, and they were talking with them.
Investigators interview motel guests to see if anyone saw or heard anything suspicious.
Only one guest, a man in a room near where the young girl was murdered, remembers hearing anything unusual. Described hearing a sound like a cat meowing.
Just as the investigation appears to be hitting a wall, Chief Bernhardt gets a report that a witness recalls seeing a mysterious individual the night of the murder.
One of the suspects we began to look at immediately was somebody that had a backpack on and was traveling through town.
The description is vague, but the witness claims he may have been armed.
Turns out to be a flimsy lead, but investigators will take whatever they can get. So they start looking for a man who fits the witness description.
In the meantime, this double homicide in the quiet small town has acquired a lot of notoriety and the attention of the entire nation.
On November 17, 1981, Chief Barnhart addresses the press and tells them no single suspect has been identified, but they're combing through a list of potential suspects.
2 people are dead, and the killer is still at large. People don't know if he's passing through town and is long gone, or if it's one of their own neighbors, someone still among them. It causes a lot of fear and anxiety.
To have this type of crime happen, particularly involving a child, that threw everybody into a buzz. People got scared. People started locking doors, started calling things in that were suspicious. They took notice and were, being very conscientious of their surroundings.
Priscilla and Danielle may not have been residents of Dickinson very long, but given their involvement at the motel, they're now known by many in the community. Priscilla Dinkle is born on January 5th, 1928, and marries Frank Dinkle.
Investigators interview immediate and extended family. It becomes clear that no one close to them could be a suspect. The search for the killer widens.
One particular piece of evidence that investigators are hoping to get is a fingerprint found on the door jamb from the door behind the front desk.
They actually cut the frame and preserved the fingerprint.
The entire motel staff is fingerprinted for elimination prints. Many of the prints found in the crime scene belong to staff or those permitted access to the area.
But the print from the door jamb doesn't belong to any of the staff. It belongs to someone else. Perhaps the killer leaves it when he places his hand on the door to the back where the child is sleeping. By December, investigators still have not named a single suspect. The case has heavy national attention due to the graphic nature of the murders.
Chief Barnhart announces that the State Crime Lab in Bismarck, North Dakota is evaluating all the fingerprints and other evidence obtained from the crime scene. But it's important to remember that DNA testing in the early 80s is an emerging science, and it is not readily available or used in police departments. The fingerprint evidence and the possibility of an eyewitness is their best chance of narrowing in on a suspect.
Investigators finally catch up with the man they believe a witness saw the night of the murder on Highway 22, the mystery suspect.
We actually did find that person in another state like about a week later, and investigators talked with him, but he had nothing to do with it. He wasn't even near that area.
Anytime an investigator is assigned to the Detectives Division, they are assigned to the Swanson murder case in the hope that a fresh set of eyes will bring some new perspective to the case.
In February 1982, Detective Jackie Martin is assigned to the case.
She's heard about the FBI's new profiling unit. He contacts them in the hopes that they will develop a psychological profile of the killer. But the technique is still new. Detectives don't know how to read it properly. More suspects need to be interviewed. Meanwhile, Detective Jim Rice continues to send evidence to police departments and labs across the country in hopes that they'll get a hit on their databases.
Then, in November 1983, police think they may have finally caught a break. A man is arrested in Texas and confesses to over 100 murders across the United States.
But when questioned about Priscilla and Danielle's killings, he said he had no involvement.
There were a couple of serial killers that were brought up on that. Trouble was, they were in the area. They were taken care of pretty quickly. I mean, as far as they couldn't have done it. You feel defeated. You feel like, what did I miss? It haunts you. That's the cases that haunt you. You go to bed and you go, what could I have done different?
The case goes cold and gets shelved for now.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Woo! Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age metal housing, we got them.
If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. If you're someone that doesn't need all that mumbo jumbo and just wants something simple. And now, we even have watches.
We do.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with our Smart Flex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty, so you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over or add a line for $15 to make my own family plan?
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
You see that tower out there? It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
And for a limited time, new customers get their second month free. Call 800-311-5340. Find us in Target or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
A better banking app is right at your fingertips. Download Dave, and you could get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less, right through your phone. There's no interest, no credit checks, and no late fees. Because getting help shouldn't set you back. Switch to the banking app made for you, and you could get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. Download the Dave app now, or go to dave.com today.
Looking for a way to stretch the dollar? With Insurify, you can cut your car insurance bill in half. Scroll through dozens of prices and tap to switch online. That's it. No phone calls and no wasted time. Go to Insurify and save today.
Who did you let down today? Your wife? Your kids? Well, how about yourself? Take a look in the mirror. If you're tired of your drug and alcohol problem, you need to fix the problem, and right now, before you hurt or kill yourself, or worse yet, somebody else. Call the addiction specialist now at the Reset Addiction Treatment Helpline. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll find you the right treatment regardless of your financial situation. When you call right now, you'll speak to a recovering addict who understands what you're going through right now. Let us help you break your addiction to drug and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential and free. So take 5 minutes of your time and call us right now. We're here answering the phone. I promise it'll change your life.
Call 800-795-7200. That's 800-795-7200. Again, 800-795-7200.
So it's spot the difference.
Oh, it's so much more.
In June's journey, you need to be able to spot things out of the ordinary to discover important clues.
Sounds good, right?
Oh, where's my tablet? June's journey. Download now for free.
If you're over 50 and can't work due to physical or mental health problems, you may be entitled to Social Security disability. Call Disability Help today. If you can't regularly lift over 10 pounds, or if you can't stand all day long, you may be eligible for disability benefits. Disability Help Today connects Social Security disability applicants just like you with representatives nationwide. Call now.
You know, at drivetime.com, you can get approved, shop thousands of cars, and customize your payment.
With no hit to your credit when you shop online.
Amazing. What's with the pinata?
Well, to show people that usually if you want to see your real terms online, your credit takes a hit.
Everybody knows that, Tom.
But not at drivetime.com. I'm a visual learner, Kim.
Well, now you can see your real terms on every car and customize your down and monthly payments.
With no credit hit.
Shop for cars online with no credit hit at drivetime.com.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
Following the double homicide of Priscilla Dinkle and Danelle Lates, detectives canvass motel guests, but no one remembers seeing or hearing anything suspicious. is lifted from the scene. But there are no hits in the system that is trying to match the print. The FBI's head of the new Criminal Profile Division agrees to help with the case and creates a criminal profile for the killer. And when a serial killer is caught in Texas, who claims responsibility for over 100 murders nationwide, Dickinson detectives are hopeful that they finally caught their man. But the serial killer denies having anything to do with the Swanson Motel murders. The case goes cold and gets shelved. It's now March 1987, and while the case has gone cold, it remains open, with investigators following any new leads they can afford the time on. The once quiet town of Dickinson has not forgotten the brutal killings, nor have they forgotten that somewhere out there, a killer still walks free. Possibly even someone they know in their own community. In February 1989, Paul Bizzano becomes the new Dickinson police chief.
In July 1990, due to the high-profile nature of the Swanson Motel murders, the police commissioner tasks Chief Bizzano with solving them. The public is hopeful that with a new chief, the killer might finally be brought to justice. They assume that although some money was missing from the crime scene, robbery wasn't the motive. Because there are no signs of forced entry into the motel and no evidence suggesting that the victims sought help, investigators conclude that the suspect knew his victims.
Bizzano assigns the original responding patrolman, now detective, Chuck Rummel, to head this case.
The chief wants Detective Rummel to study the case intimately, more than anyone has before.
So every investigator kind of looks at it differently. And so with me, I started from the very beginning. I said, okay, I'm going to start from ground zero, which means I start from those people that lived in that hotel again. I'm going to start with them again. And I'm going to process each one more thoroughly, I hope.
Detective Rummel can barely get the 3-foot by 4-foot cabinet drawer open because the paperwork is spilling out. He has his fair share of work cut out for him.
The Swanson Motel has been torn down, so Rummel relies on crime scene photographs. He has a thick file of over 90 suspects, which includes serial killers from across the country. He decides to start from ground zero. He reads everything in the case file.
Detective Rummel is a few months into the case when he's sitting at his kitchen table reviewing Douglas's FBI profile of the killer.
So I read it. I read the profile and I reread it and I reread it and just said, okay, which suspect does this fit? And I eliminated right off the bat about all down to 10. So I went from 90 to 10. And I continued to study it and look through the files, and I got down to 2. Bill Rieger was one of them.
From a list of over 90 suspects, the FBI profile appears to fit William Rieger, the man Melody first accuses of killing her mother and daughter.
Rummel tracks down Rieger's wife and questions her on his appearance.
He knows from the profile that the killer would have changed his looks after the murders.
So I asked his wife, did Bill change his appearance in any way? And she said, yeah. Immediately, she said, his hair was always jet black. And when I saw him a couple weeks after this thing happened, his hair was gray, just gray.
She also states that he stayed around Dickinson for about a month after the murders. This, along with other matching pieces from the FBI profile, encourages Rummel that he's on the right track.
I already had 4 items on that profile that were accurate. Now I got to dig deeper, and so I continue to dig into the profile.
William Rieger is born in the town of Beach, North Dakota, in 1942. He and his family moved to Bismarck in 1948. Rieger experiences a tumultuous upbringing. He begins elementary school the year before his family moves, and is known for often getting into fights on the playground. In one incident, some of the kids tie a rope around his waist and hoist him to the top of the flagpole. Rieger only finishes to grade 11, and soon after, he joins the military. While he's stationed in Germany on January 18, 1964, his mother is killed by a drunk driver. William flies home for her funeral. After the army, William moves to Dickinson and lives there for several years. In 1970, he's sentenced to a year at the state penitentiary on a burglary charge. While in jail, his wife at the time divorces him. After his release in March 1971, he returns to Dickinson. He makes his living driving a cab and working for the city. Though Dickinson police know of him, he avoids trouble with the law during this time.
At the time of the 1981 murders, he is still driving a cab. He's also living at the Swanson Motel.
As I started looking at the other suspect, I had two of them. I kind of eliminated him. He didn't fit some of the profile like Bill was fitting. And so I decided, let's stick with Bill. And let's find Bill and let's talk to Bill.
Rummel has the Records Department track down Rieger using the FBI's National Crime Information Center.
Anytime someone comes up in the system, it gets recorded. And since Rieger has a criminal record, he's in the system.
Which is how Rummel discovers that a trooper in Arkansas stops Rieger and runs the FBI's NCIC.
Rummel learns that Rieger is now living in Batesville, Arkansas. And not only that, he's suspected for a homicide there as well.
A decade after the murders, Rummel and Detective Jerry Thiessen drive down to Arkansas to coordinate with police there and question Rieger. On the way, Rummel tells his partner that he has no plans on returning until they find out, one way or another, if Rieger is responsible for the Swanson Motel murders. The hunt for the truth is on.
Ready to party? I'm talking about Jackpot Party, the #1 free-to-play mobile slots game in the world that always gives you more. Download Jackpot Party for free and get a 45 million coin bonus. Jackpot Party, a party in every spin.
New features in the Weight Watchers app just dropped.
In the My Progress tab, I can see just how far I've come. I've lost 60 pounds and I can still enjoy all of the foods that I love.
My Progress helps you see what's working, making your weight loss journey easier. So all you gotta do is you. Join Weight Watchers today.
Bras fit small-chested women like this.
This is atrocious gapping.
What is all this extra space for?
This. I don't look good. I don't feel good.
We got you.
Meet Pepper.
Now I'm having a good time.
I feel lifted, scooped, supported, specially designed for AA to B cups. No more cup gaps or awkward fits. A bra reinvented for small boobs. Check us out at wearpepper.com.
This is what I'm talking about.
A Talkspace therapist will be in your corner for whatever comes up and be a place for you to vent day or night when you need to. Talkspace is covered by most insurance plans and may be no cost to you. Go to Talkspace.com to get started.
Wow, is that really me? Oh my gosh. Wow. Who am I?
Oh my God. I can't believe I have no lines in my face.
I'm just in love with the mirror right now.
It's a facelift in a jar.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. We've created the best offer yet with our Memorial Day Plexiderm 10-minute challenge. All it takes is 10 minutes to reduce the appearance of under-eye bags, wrinkles, and crow's feet. People across the country look and feel years younger in minutes.
Here, I don't look 61 in 3 weeks, and this is only because of Plexiderm.
Holy
Like I look 15 years younger.
The instant results are from naturally based silicates. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms, rapidly reducing the appearance of under eye bags and wrinkles in minutes. So if under eye bags and wrinkles make you look tired and older, try it this Memorial Day for only $14.95 plus get free shipping.
I was seeing this bra all over my Instagram feed. I'm sure you're seeing it too.
This is the most comfortable bra I've ever put on in my life.
I love it because one, it's not underwire. I hate underwire.
It smooths out your back. It doesn't give you back fat or back rolls.
You could wear this under a t-shirt and it wouldn't leave any marks or bulges.
So not only is it super supportive, lifting and smoothing, but you have all that without an underwire and without a ton of padding.
So if you're looking at this and it's available, I promise you won't regret it.
Try risk-free. Free returns on all orders.
As you get older, your liver health becomes an increasingly important part of the aging process. We created Dose for your liver to make taking care of your liver easy. Dose is an organic blend of liver-supporting ingredients and is clinically backed to promote healthy liver function so that nothing's holding you back.
From the crime scene,
It was just bizarre.
to the investigation,
Everybody is a suspect.
uncover the mysteries, and reveal the final hours before the crime. The Last 24, next on True Crime Network.
Roughly 8 years after the double homicide, the new Dickinson police chief, Paul Bizzano, reopens the case. Chuck Rummel, one of the first responding officers on the scene of the murder day, is assigned the case and asked to go over every detail. He spends hours poring over files and reports, but when he comes across the FBI's criminal profile, he suddenly has a revelation of who the killer is. Rummel believes the man Melody Leitz suspected back in 1981 fits the profile. Willie Rieger. Rummel tracks Rieger down and discovers he's living in a small town in Arkansas. With the cooperation of local police, he may have a chance to finally interview his primary suspect. Rummel's plan is to coordinate with local police and arrest Rieger on a polygamy warrant.
Rieger has 2 wives. The one that Rummel spoke to on the phone, who was with him after Dickinson, and a more recent second wife down in Arkansas. As the 2 detectives cross state lines, they discuss theories of how Rieger may have committed the murders.
The detectives speculate that because Rieger is living at the motel, Priscilla is used to seeing him come and go, and would have thought nothing of him being there that late at night.
Since there are no indications that there was a struggle, he could have gotten close enough to strike her. Which is something a stranger likely couldn't have done.
Once Rieger incapacitates Priscilla, he moves on to the sleeping child in the back of the bedroom, and after he's done the unthinkable, he returns to Priscilla to finish her off and make sure there are no witnesses. The day after Detectives Rummel and Thiessen arrive, sheriffs in a small, nearby Arkansas town pick Rieger up and hold him in their office under arrest for polygamy. The night that the Dickinson detectives arrive, their Arkansas hosts catch them up to speed on the local murder Rieger is suspected of.
In 1988, Della Harding is home alone when Rieger allegedly breaks in and strangles her to death. He then puts her in the trunk of her own car, dumps her in a nearby creek, and then abandons the car nearby. Arkansas detectives learn that Rieger drives by that house every day, going to and from work.
After comparing notes, the detectives see a similar profile emerging for these murders.
It's another elderly woman known to the killer. Though in this case, there is no sexual assault motive.
Arkansas detectives allow Rummel to take a first crack at interviewing Rieger. Rummel is nervous, but he thinks back to an earlier conversation he has with Judd Ray,